Format is brilliant. You know, they've obviously spent a lot of money on the production. It's just unfortunate that only the hardcores are really into, you know, the World Boxing Super Series tournament. And the aim of it is for the best to fight the best. I mean, we were lucky in the Cruiserweight division last year where it was literally like the best against the best. And we got an undisputed champion. But in the super middleweight division, we didn't have the likes of Benavidez in there. I mean, it is a good concept. I'd like to see like more people taking an interest in it, but I think if it carries on as it is, then it can get there.
Yeah, and I think with this show, actually, what could work is that they start doing maybe a cross promotion in the sense of the lead fight was obviously Josh Taylor pro grade. That was only World Boxing Supers. The rest were matchroom. So maybe for some of the other fighters or other divisions, they could say, for the final, let's back it up with a top rank card, or that's sitting underneath it, or PBC. Do you know what I mean? Golden Boy. I think that could kind of make it a bit more widespread. I still don't think it's. I like it. I think it's not hitting the casual fans enough for it to get that next level.
But that's about promotion.
Yeah, that's true.
That's about promotion. I think with what Sky Sports did with the Taylor fight, I think you might see more of Sky Sports taking on the World Boxing, serious fights, and I think anything that's on Sky Sports just seems to take off to us because everyone's got Sky these days. So I think moving forward we could see it take off, and hopefully it does because it is a brilliant concept. This is what you want to see: the best fighting the best.
Exactly.
You know, as young, unbeaten men. So hopefully.
And you're gonna have you're gonna have those inconsistencies where you're gonna have fighters that pick up injuries. There's gonna be a bit of delay, and that's expected. But I think with the World Boxing Super Series, its main aim is to be a global phenomenon, as opposed to giving fighters with unbeaten records a platform to project themselves. Like there is a comparison between you've got like the more sort of low scene concepts with like the Ultimate Boxer. That's hitting a different audience. Whereas the World Boxing, like you said, Daryl, is purity of the sport, getting into the hardcores.
I think it'll be difficult to get, you know, like the heavyweight division, for example, because of the politics in the sport right now. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see Fury, Wilder, Joshua Ruiz all in one tournament because of the politics. But I think that the idea is good, and if more and more people get in tune with it, you know, it's always going to have teething problems when it starts out. But if it can continue to be a success, because there has been, you know, some areas where, you know, there was problems with the funding and there was worries that the tournament might not continue. But luckily we got over that and we did manage to see the final between Taylor and Prograde. I think that, if it can continue, then we will be able to see more of these fights, because at the end of the day we want to see one champion in one division, don't we?
And moving on to the rest of the matchroom card, a lot of fights on that night. I think there's no better place to start really than Chisora versus Price. Would you guys want to give me your thoughts on that?
Blew him out, didn't he?
Dean, I'll start with you, baby.
I must admit, I hold my hands up. I predicted Price to win. I thought his size, his jab would just keep Chisora at bay. Also, I thought Parker pulling out might affect Chisora in terms of motivation. It didn't. Chisora went in there, took care of business. Regarding Chisora, I'd like to see him now go and fight Parker if they can. I don't know what happened with Parker originally.
This Spider-Man. Just doesn't sound right, does it?
Sort of spider was that?
Exactly. And I swear he was in a Las Vegas fight.
Exactly.
Locked away.
So I'd like to see Parker, Chisora, or even as they mentioned, like David A mentioned it, Usyk Chisora. It'd be interesting. As for Pricey, I don't know where he goes from here, to be honest.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, do you call it a day? But that's what it's 7th, 8th, 9th, lost something like that. It's the hurt game. For me, you come in, you do what you got to do, you get out. Don't hang around too long. I don't want to see Pricey hang around too long because he's had a few bad knockouts. So I think he's got some soul searching to do. But as for Del Boy, fair play to him. He went in there, took care of business, and hopefully he gets a big fight. And to be honest, he's probably the most popular heavyweight in Britain.
Okay.
I would say Del Boy. He's probably between him and Fury. I think they're both more popular than AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see where you're coming. I won't lie. I think I'll still put AJ ahead of him, but I can definitely see where you're coming from in terms of Del Boy, in terms of like he's kind of weak, exactly. He's weak, killing himself, but also he just speaks straight. He's none of this commercial thinking about branding. He just gives it straight, and I think a lot of people, because it's kind of like the Dillian White slot. I think, and like, I love Dillian White, but I feel with this whole B sample thing, he's his name's gone down a bit, and maybe Chisora could come in and fill that kind of slot.
But even when Chisora and Dylan White were fighting, Chisora had the crowd behind him.
That is true, actually. Yeah, you're right.
The crowd loved Del Boy, and to be fair, he's backing it up at the moment.
I'll tell you what, outside of the arena, there was a lot of people there for Chisora. You know, a lot of people said that. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the fan cams yet, but there was a lot of guys that said Chisora was the main event for them. They came to see Chisora.
There was one guy that said, he made me laugh because he asked him, what do you think of Nathan? He's like, nah, it's just Chisora, mate.
Yeah, he's just there for Chisora. So,
yeah,
he does have a fan base. Yeah, he does.
Do you know this with Chisora? You know that when you go to see Del Boy, he's either going to get knocked out or he's going to knock someone else out. Yeah. And a lot of the casuals, that's what they want to see. They want to see two big heavyweights going at it and someone ending up on the deck.
Yeah. And Chisora's not worried about that taking a defeat. He's grown to the fans a lot more now recently with, you know, teaming up. It just, there's a narrative behind it now with David Haye being part of it.
Exactly. He's a bit more polished as well.
A bit more polished.
And even to say, going back, I think there's something when I see Chisora now, he just seems more focused. Apart from the sort of I'm going to kill David Price remark, even his behaviour has been a bit good. I think it's been banterish, but I feel it was well performed and well behaved, sorry. And even afterwards, it's all a bit weird seeing him with Nigel Farage. You're just like, where did that come from?
Good interview as well.
I've not checked it out actually. Is it good? Yeah.
I think that's what they like about Chisora, the unpredictability. You know, you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, we didn't know what was going to happen at the press conference.
Yeah.
We didn't know he was going to be with Farage after the fight. Like, we don't know what's going to happen.
Ordering like 30 burgers and stuff. But from your point of view, who would you like to see Chisora fight next, Tom?
It's difficult. I think if the Usyk fight did prevail, I think you would take that. But if I was to choose someone, I'd say probably Hunter, maybe someone like that. I don't think the Joyce fight is going to happen. I think that's been made clear. Usyk, I mean, they're saying about Joshua's WBO. If he wins it, it's going to be stripped from him, or he's going to have to defend. So the belts are going to become vacant.
One belt is going to become vacant. Definitely,
it's a matter of time. But I mean, Chisora, Hunter, someone of that level. I think. But it's hard to see really what's from now. Like, what's he going to choose? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, and also on the card we had Ricky Burns versus Lee Selby. Anybody catch that fight? Any thoughts?
It went how I thought it would go, but Selby eked it out. Burns did, I would say, look like the old man. That's disrespectful. He looked like he was on the turn as a fighter. It's not prime Ricky Burns. And Selby did what he had to do, but I would like to see Selby have one or two more fights at that weight just to see where he is at again, because obviously he's dipped over the last couple of years. Selby a few years ago looked like he was going to be the next big thing. But it was a good win for Selby, but it was an expected win in my opinion.
I mean, in terms of Ricky Burns' performance, were you anybody impressed with Ricky Burns' performance?
I think Selby showed maturity. I think Burns, I mean, you can't knock him. He's done it. He's been there. He's done it. But I think Selby now can really take that as probably his career best performance to date. You know, it's a period now where he's got to kick on up in 2 weights. He's moulding into the weight, and now he's got to. I mean, you can't look back now. You've got to go forward. You've beaten someone of that reputation. You've got to really kick on now and demand the big fights.
Exactly, and put his name. So it's a big show to get your name out there as well. So, from your point of view, Daryll, do you think? And this is just really a question about Selby. Do you think power-wise, do you think he's going to have the power to really hang with some of the champions in that lightweight division?
I don't think so. No, I don't think he's got enough pop to get rid of the top lightweights out there. That's the issue I think with Selby now. I mean, he's got the skills, but they are. He's had a long career, so I'm not sure as to where he's going to go. But he can still at least be in the B side in a couple of good fights, and that's no disrespect to Selby at all.
Yes.
But I think he's seen better days now. And I think right now is the time to really, go for the fights that he's looking for. Ricky Burns is he's a tough son of a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's been there and done it as well. And he deserves respect for his career. But I think, for Selby, he can at least have a couple more fights. He's got a few more fights in him.
Yeah. And last one we're going to talk about on the night is Lance Okolie picks up his European Cruiserweight belt, beat Yves Ngannou, 7th round stoppage. What do you guys make of the performance, Okolie?
Divides opinion.
He's like Marmite, isn't he? I like him, but he's like Marmite.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I watch Okolie and I think, actually, do you know what? But then other times I see him and I think, I'm not sure. This was one of the performances I looked on for. still unsure about Okolie, to be honest.
Just raw power, isn't it? Just
He's got
it's
ridiculous power.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, he's a massive guy. I saw him at Wembley a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's huge.
I think it might have been before the AJ Povetkin, because I remember it was the night before a Wembley show.
Yeah.
And I was coming out of a restaurant at the Wembley Design Outlet. And I looked, that guy's massive.
Yeah.
I did a double take. And it was Okolie. How does he make 14-4? He's massive.
Huge. And he's starting to fill out a bit as well.
He is. He'll move up to heavyweight in a couple of years or so. But regarding his performance over the weekend, I wasn't spectacularly impressed, but he got the job done.
I don't think he gets enough credit though, really, because a guy of that inexperience in the pro ranks, and he's already a European champion, he's steamrolled opponents. And if you look at the cruiserweight, Matt Yaskin, people said was a tough fight. I know it wasn't the most pleasing on the eye, but you still got to get the job done. Who else to be? Wadi Camacho, okay.
Even the Chamberlain fight at the time, it was not a great fight in terms of on the eye, but it was a performance that needed to be done.
Got the job done.
And I think for me, kind of going back to what you're saying, so I do think with Okolie, I don't think he's going to get the credit purely because even when I was watching the Ngannou fight, there were times it was difficult because there's a lot of clinching, which also comes from the opponent because they don't want to get caught with one of his big right hands. And I just don't think he's yet got the skill set to manoeuvre, not even from like pushing him away, just like pivoting. I don't think he's got the ability to just pivot and then start landing shots. But I do think I like Okolie. I don't know what it is. I just like his ruggedness.
I think he deserves more credit, Okolie. I think that he, I mean, how many fights has he had now? Like 14 fights.
Exactly.
Just look, he's cleaned out the domestic scene already. He's won a European title now. He's on his way to world honours, and I know that some of his fights are not really that pleasing on the eye, but I think what he's accomplished in such little time. I mean, it was only a few years ago he was in McDonald's, a chubby kid, and AJ came across him, and that's how he got into boxing. So I think. I mean, I'm not going to lie, some of the fights are a hard watch.
That's it.
On Saturday it was pretty hard to watch, but the ending was, he delivered a knockout. And I think, if he can, I think Shane McGuigan's the right guy for him as well.
That's
I
actually
think him and as his trainer, I think is good for him.
Spot on.
So I'm interested in his development, and I think that hopefully the cruiserweight division is tough, but he could get up there.
And I think it's like you're saying, it's a slow progress. He's just taking the right steps, British, you know what I mean, English, British, Commonwealth, and European. But I think you raised a good point actually, having Shane McGuigan, and I think the confidence Shane McGuigan's going to take from working with Taylor, and even his past portfolio, I think that's going to help Okolie a lot as well, to be fair. I think from an intelligent perspective, I think McGuigan builds great game plans.
Giving the right instructions.
But I think it's about that camaraderie, because I was listening to an interview, and Lawrence Okolie was like, he said he was messing around, and Shane McGuigan was like, "What are you doing? You know you're Lawrence Okolie." Like, but the way he gave him a breathe of air and a lift, exactly. I think that will be really good for Okolie moving forward.
He's surrounded by winners. I mean, look who's in Shane McGuigan's gym right now. You've got Luke Campbell, you've got Josh Taylor of all people, you've got Lawrence Okolie. So I think that there is a good team.
Josh Buatsi is part of the whole stable from an AJ boxing perspective. Totally agree with you. And I think for me, Okolie, it's just going to be interesting to see how he progresses, because I think the key thing is the cruiserweight. There's still a few killers there. So would I rush him into a world title fight? Now I would say no. I still think let him build, give him another year. I think he's probably got a maximum another 12 months, and then let him go.
There's
I
no
think
rush
once he starts filling out, there's no rush.
He's proven himself. Like, once you get to European level, then people are going to really start to want you to get those world titles. But he doesn't need to rush. Like, I'm sure the McGuigan camp, they'll formulate a strategy to get to world level and deal with whoever comes in front of him.
I see that happening.
Because there still is a massive gap between European and world. You see the likes of like Dorticos. These guys punch like mules, and you've got Okolie who's a big puncher, but still needs to kind of polish the technical side.
The finessing. And even if you look at, like you just said, Dorticos, and Dorticos came up against Andrew Tabiti in the last round of the WBSS, and Tabiti had a feared reputation of knocking guys out like ridiculously, like stunning knockouts. So you're definitely right. I think Okolie will just take his time, a little bit of learning, but I can see him. I think he's going in the right direction. So now, guys, going to move on to a topic. For me, I think it's kind of the big one, but it's totally flown under the radar. Sal Canelo Alvarez versus Sergey the Crusher Kovalev, going down in Las Vegas this weekend. I think, guys, I want to get your thoughts on when you heard this fight was being made. what was your reaction to it? And I'll start with you, Tom, and then go around.
Sensible matchmaking, isn't
Yeah.
it? Picking guys at the right stage of that's what Canelo's career has been. But he's beaten guys who are at the top of their divisions, top of their game.
Yeah.
And I think now it's like he's done so well to stake his claim as a pound for pound great in the middleweight division. He's stepped up to super middleweight, and now he's stepping up to light heavyweight to really prove himself. And I don't think people probably demise him for doing it, because it's like he's picking Kovalev, who people presume is an aged fighter. I think still Kovalev can still cause Canelo threats, but it's about establishing his legacy, climbing up weights. It might not be the best way of doing it against guys like not in their prime, but
I think when you look back, I get what you're saying.
It?
Yeah, and when you look back, it's still going to have that light heavyweight title, no matter who that champion was in terms of their ranking at the time. So yeah, and Dean,
I was surprised how easy it was made. It was done really quickly compared to some big fights.
Yeah, even the yards, Kovalev took longer to get announced.
Exactly. So it was made fairly easy, fairly quickly. Fair play to Canelo for stepping up 2 weight divisions, but as Tunde Ajayi will say, everything is timing, and Canelo has picked his time very well. He saw Yard hurt Kovalev numerous times to the body, and Canelo is arguably the best body puncher on the planet. I think Canelo takes this fight, but I wouldn't completely write off Kovalev. He's not the Kovalev of 3-4 years ago, but he's still formidable, and I think this fight will take a lot out of Canelo.
Good point.
More than he actually thinks. This fight's going to take a lot out of him, but he will prevail the way.
I think that Canelo was probably a bit nervous watching that Yard fight at times, especially in that 8th, 9th round where Kovalev was rocking. I think Canelo was probably thinking, like, what am I going to do here? But in terms of the fight itself, I agree with both of you guys. I think that it is very good matchmaking from Golden Boy. I think that Kovalev, he's not the same guy as he was a couple of years ago. He's shown that he can be stopped now. He got stopped by Leda Alvarez. And, you know, he doesn't have that, for me, he doesn't have that fearsome aura anymore. You know, the crusher. He was that guy where everybody's afraid to go in the ring with. And I think after the 2 Ward fights, make of it what you will with the second Ward fight, but I think after that, kind of lost his aura a little bit. But he's still got a title up at light heavyweight. He's still the most recognisable name at light heavyweight. So for Canelo, I think he's in this DAZN deal now. He's got some fights that he needs to fulfil, and I think it makes sense. I do think it makes sense for him. And in terms of the fight itself, I know practically everyone I've spoken to is picking Canelo Alvarez, and I'm picking him as well. But I don't think we should write off Kovalev completely, because just look at the head-to-head with these guys. I mean, he's massive compared to Canelo, and Kovalev's still got a good jab, got a good trainer in his corner, Buddy McGirt. And, you know, I'm picking Canelo, but anything can happen.
And I think that's actually a good point that you raised there in terms of, one, the trainer in his corner. I think that's the slight difference. Since he started working with Buddy McGirt, you've seen that he's tried to utilise the jab a lot more than even in previous fights.
And he has got a good jab.
Exactly. I think you saw that in the Yard fight. I think it is just the stamina. The one thing I would say to counter it, and I think Canelo, because I'm picking him as well, but I think sometimes Canelo sometimes also has stamina issues as well. Even if you think to the Triple G fights, there were rounds where his output really dropped, and that's where kind of Triple G brought it back. The Lara fight as well. So
and now that he's stepping up another division, more weight.
2 divisions.
It's catchweight either. Is that the full
170?
That's what surprised me. I thought you might have tried to get Kovalev down to 170, 172. For Canelo to go up to 175, fair play to him. I think he'll win, but I think this fight's going to take a lot out of him, and I'm not sure if Canelo will be the same fighter after this fight.
And for me, where I'm really interested to see how this fight plays out is because when Canelo beat Jacobs, one of the things that impressed me was his movement and his head movement. I think he's going to have to be on point 120% throughout this fight, because Crusher has got some power. No matter if he's not the guy of old, he's still got power, and you're facing a guy that you've actually never taken power in an actual fight. It's one thing sparring 175 pounders or cruiserweights. It's going to be in an actual fight, and I think that can make a difference. Just in terms of Canelo's game plan, if he starts getting punched quite early in terms of a jab and a right 1-2s, he's going to be thinking to himself, what's my game plan now? How am I going to evade these shots?
Everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face.
So they get punched in the face,
Mike Tyson said.
And I think Kovalev, he's a bit vindictive, and I think he's going to be thinking, this is the first fight where I've been totally written off, because I can't think of a fight where he's been totally written off like this.
One thing to consider as well is how many guys has Canelo knocked over at middleweight? You know, how many people has he knocked out?
Yeah, not as much as you would think.
So to move up another 2 weight divisions, will he be able to carry any sort of power to light
Yeah,
heavyweight
This is
to
it.
disrupt Kovalev.
And that's actually a good point, because when you think of the Jacobs fight, he fought really well,
Yeah.
but actually didn't put him down.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I think we're all kind of saying he's going to stop Kovalev, but yeah, I just think are we focusing too much on the Andre Ward defeat and not, obviously we know